The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 is one of the most anticipated foldable phones of the year, but recent developments have sparked serious concern among fans. And the reason? The performance of the Exynos 2500 chipset. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7, and more specifically, the disappointing performance results of its rumored Exynos 2500 variant. A fresh Geekbench listing has just surfaced, and unfortunately, the numbers tell a very familiar and frustrating story. For those who've been following the saga of Exynos versus Snapdragon, this won't come as a shock. The Galaxy Z Flip 7 with the Exynos 2500 has reportedly scored just 2,012 in single-core and 7,563 in multi-core performance on Geekbench. While the device in the listing does feature 12 GB of RAM and runs Android 16, the chipset itself clearly continues to lag behind the competition. Let's put that into perspective. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 Elite, which powers the Galaxy S25 series, scores a massive 3,220 in single-core and over 10,200 in multi-core. That's a huge gap in performance. And just to make things worse, someone on social media pointed out that even Apple's A14 chip from 2020, yes, a 5-year-old chip, has a higher single-core score of 2,079. That's more than what the brand new Exynos 2500 is delivering today. Now, Samsung fans have always had a love-hate relationship with Exynos. Many were hoping that the Tsunameter Exynos 2500 would finally close the gap, but sadly that doesn't seem to be the case. And it's not just about benchmark scores. These numbers reflect real-world performance that affects everything from gaming and multitasking to battery efficiency and heat management. Interestingly, the multi-core performance of the Exynos 2500 does land somewhere near Apple's A17 Pro, which was released in 2023. The A17 scored around 7,441 in multi-core tests, so at least there's that. But still, in today's competitive market, being close to a 2-year-old chip just isn't good enough. So what does this mean for the Galaxy Z Flip 7? Let's be clear, the Flip 7 isn't going to be a bad phone. With 12 GB RAM and Android 16, you're still getting a premium foldable experience. But performance-wise, this variant isn't likely to impress. For users who care about speed, gaming, and high performance, the Snapdragon variant, if one exists for select markets, will almost certainly be the better pick. But there's a bigger concern here, and that's the future of Exynos as a whole. Samsung is already working on the Exynos 2600, which is expected to be used in the Galaxy S26 series across multiple regions. These weak numbers from the 2500 don't inspire confidence in what's coming next. If the 2600 fails to deliver, Samsung might find itself at a serious disadvantage, especially with Qualcomm planning to raise prices on the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2. There's also the political angle to consider. With former President Trump reigniting his tensions with Apple and possibly tightening trade policies, we could see higher prices for smartphones across the board, especially in the US. Samsung may want to reduce dependency on Qualcomm, but if Exynos can't step up, the company will be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Thankfully, reports suggest that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will ship globally with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. That's a relief, because at least Samsung's premium foldable will have the power to back up its price tag. But for the Flip 7, there's growing frustration from the community. Many are accusing Samsung of cutting corners, questioning why the company continues to push Exynos when the results are consistently underwhelming. The bottom line is this. The Galaxy Z Flip 7 might still be a fun, stylish foldable phone with a solid user experience, but for power users, the Exynos 2500 variant is already a disappointment, on paper at least. And that's not just bad news for this one phone. It casts a long shadow over Samsung's entire chipset strategy. If Samsung can't fix the performance issues in time for the Exynos 2600, then the Galaxy S26 might be the last straw for a lot of users. Samsung needs to decide whether Exynos is truly the future, or a failed experiment that keeps holding its flagship phones back. That's all for today. What do you think about the Exynos 2500 scores? Are you disappointed, or do you still have hope for the Flip 7 and the future of Exynos? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on Samsung and all the latest tech news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.